Well, that was super exciting. Hi everyone, it's Jenny B, gambling in my kitchen again, both on the slot machine and on the stove. Today's gamble, queso birria tacos, not diet food. Well, we just came off the holidays and we're all trying to eat better, right? Well, here we are. You know, during the week, my husband and I eat chicken and rice and broccoli and blah, 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 blah. But when we're trying to eat better, we do that during the week. And then on the weekends, we make a bomb-ass cheat meal. I mean, a cheat meal so good, it'll get you through to the next week. So yeah, today's not diet food, it's cheat meal food. Today's gamble really is a gamble because I have never made them before, but I see everyone eating them, making them on YouTube, and now I have to try. I am not a chef. I'm not a professional in any sense. I'm just a girl in a kitchen that can follow directions. So if I can make it, you can make it. Birria comes from the state of Jalisco in Mexico, where it is traditionally made with braised goat meat. I don't know how to get goat meat here, and frankly, I don't think many people want to see me make it, so we're going to stick with the bottom round roast today. It's a cut of beef that needs a really, really long time to cook to be tender, and it's full of beefy flavor, and it doesn't have too much fat. There's some prep that's got to happen, yeah, but most of the work is passive with the beef getting all melty and fall aparty in the consomme in the oven. Let's go before I start drooling. We've got 4 dried guajillo peppers, 2 dried chili de or bell peppers, 1 chipotle pepper in adobo from the can with the sauce, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and 1 tablespoon of Mexican oregano. In my opinion, it has way more flavor than the Italian oregano. They're bigger flakes, so crunch them up a bit with your fingers. We've got 1 teaspoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, black pepper and kosher salt, 1 medium onion, 6 cloves of garlic, and 4 cups of beef broth separated. I used more in the recipe, I'll explain later. We've got Monterey Jack cheese and then tortillas. Let's take a quick pause right here. I thought I had corn tortillas. So, when you have a husband that spent 25 years in the restaurant business, it's always a little dangerous for me when he decides to edit the pantry and the refrigerator. So, yeah, I didn't have any corn tortillas because they got tossed. So I gave him a call and I said, yeah, I need corn tortillas. So hopefully they will arrive here by the time I'm going to be making the tacos themselves. This is always a battle in my house. Why'd you throw that away? We got a couple of limes for garnish at the end. And then our star, our 2 1/4 pound of beef round roast. First, take your dried chilies, cut off the stems, and de-seed them. We're going to steep them in 2 cups of super hot beef broth. To some, this is an unnecessary step, doing it in the broth instead of water. But for me, anywhere I can add flavor, I'm going to do it. So we're going to wrap this up with some plastic and set it aside for about 10 minutes. While the peppers are steeping, let's trim up the beef. I have a 2 1/4 bottom round roast. It usually has a fat cap on it. It's right here. So I'm going to trim it off. By the time I'm done trimming it, it should be about 2 pounds. And these little bits here, I don't want them, so I'm going to cook them up for the doggos. Lucky pups. Next, cut the beef into 2-inch chunks. Now we're going to salt and pepper these guys generously on all sides, because we're going to sear them. Maybe an unnecessary step, but here we are again, creating another layer of flavor. To me, adding these tiny little steps lead to a tremendous amount of flavor. You won't be sorry you did it. Get your Dutch oven or heavy bottom pot hot on your stove. Give it a good couple of squeezers of olive oil and wait for it to get shimmery. That's how you know it's ready. You can start adding your beef. We're gonna place them in the pan and brown them on all sides. You might have to do them in a couple of batches because you don't want to crowd the pan. You're just gonna end up steaming the meat, making it all gray and gross, and that will make everyone sad. And no one should be sad eating tacos. We are going to chop up some onions and garlic. We're going to put them aside for a little later. Give your garlic a nice mince. Peel them and chop them up pretty fine. And now for those pesky onions. Oh, onions and I have such a dysfunctional relationship. So it was like a bad boyfriend or something. I mean, I love them, but they hurt me so bad. Anywho, I'm going to grab my handy dandy Cheeto chopper here. I'm feeling risky today. I don't think I'm going to use a bowl. Bowls are for sissies. Oh. Well, okay, now I'll use a bowl, but I'll use an awkwardly small bowl. How about that? That'll be better. Oh, well, okay. All right, now we're going to grab our blender and start blending up our peppers and spices. So your steeped chili should be nice and soft now. We're going to dump them all into the blender, including the broth you steeped them in. To that, you're going to add your garlic, oregano, cumin, coriander, chipotle pepper. A good pinch of salt, a couple of good pinches actually, and some cracked black pepper. Blend that baby up until you have a very smooth and pourable mixture. It'll be pretty runny. Test it for salt, set it aside while you get your pot ready. So I cleaned up my pot a little bit after searing the beef. Some of the bits burned a little bit. No big deal. Now you're going to add a couple of fresh squeezers of olive oil. Saute the onions. Here they go. I don't know, 3 minutes or so. Not long. Then we're going to caramelize up the tomato paste, just like we did in the Texas chili video. Link is in the description. Now, I didn't mention this in the ingredients because, well, I forgot. But I'm going to deglaze that pan with a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This dish is pretty rich, and an element like vinegar will cut through it a little bit. Ooh, see all those bits coming up? Yo, that's flavor! Next, add the mixture from your blender, and oh my god, it smells so good. It tastes great. Next, add the beef. Snuggle them all in there in the sauce. It should come up most of the way to the beef. And don't forget to add that juice from the pan the beef was resting on. That is flavor too. So we're gonna cover her up and get her in the oven at 350 for probably, I would say, about 3 hours. Check it in 2.5 though. Lesson learned from me. I'll tell you about it later. Now we're all done. 3.5 hours later, it's still bubbling. We are going to remove all the beef from the pot, leaving the consommé behind. We'll be using that later to dunk our finished tacos in. Now we're gonna shred the beef, and I gotta deal with these blasted gloves. I hate them, but I guess it's better than getting all kinds of ish in your nails. Sorry. Now we're gonna shred up the beef and get yourself ready to make some dang tacos. Yeah. Oh, good little beef. Get ourselves all organized here with a bowl of the consommé along with your beef. Get your pan hot. Have your shredded cheese ready, and we've got the 2 kinds of tortillas. And look, the corn tortillas made it. Woo, nobody has to die. We're gonna still make both of them, because why not? Give your pan a good squeeze of olive oil. This beef didn't have as much fat as I would have hoped, so the consommé is pretty lean. We're gonna dip our tortilla, give it a good dunk, throw it in the pan. There we go. Do the other one. So we got 1 corn, we got 1 flour. And then we're gonna load it up with cheese. I mean, really load it up. You want quite a bit. And then the beef, and then we're gonna fold it over. It's not too difficult. I like the color of the flour one better already. Let the cheese get all ooey gooey. You want the cheese to actually ooze out so the edges are kind of crispy. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't like the corn ones, so we tossed them. Goodbye. We're just gonna stick with the flour. And here's the end product. They are ooey and gooey and melty and crispy. The flour ones got way crispier. Look at that. And then we have your consommé with some raw onion and cilantro and a little lime for garnish. Oh God, I gotta get in here now. Which one do I get? First one in front. Oh. Ready? Oh my God. I can't believe how well that turned out. My first time. Had a few adjustments. Talk about that a little later, but let's do this. Cheese pull. For making this for the first time, here are my takeaways. First, I ended up using a whole 6 cups of beef broth. About 2 hours into the cook, I looked at it and it had cooked way down and it certainly wasn't done, and I freaked out. I didn't even have time to turn my camera on. I was like, oh. So I quickly took it out of the oven, added the additional beef broth, tasted it, and surprisingly, the salt levels were still right on point. With that said, I think next time I will add a couple of pasilla peppers to the recipe. Some of the recipes called for them, some did not. So next time, pasillas. All in all, I cooked the beef in the oven in the consommé for about 3.5 hours. That's how long it took that beef bottom round to get all melty and fall aparty. Next time, I actually might try short ribs or chuck. So there's my kitchen gamble today. I hope you take a gamble and make this for yourself.